Hey, free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. Now, we are currently on the Korean Dislyte Twitter account, and for some reason, they don't allow people to comment. Yes, Coley? Why? Okay, so for some reason, they don't allow players to comment for some reason. But this literally just dropped about like a couple hours ago. So apparently, there's going to be some Esper changes, Esper balancing in 3.2.6. We are currently in 3.2.4, and I think my cat is hungry. Quick shout out to Apotheosis and Kinja for first alerting me on this tweet. I really appreciate it. If you guys know about more information, feel free to just hit me up and let me know as well, so that I can disseminate this information to everyone in the YouTube space. So here are some of the changes that they have mentioned. I don't think this is exhaustive because the Esper subject to adjustment may be subject to change. Essentially, they're saying that this list is subject to change. So they have only showcased a few legendary Espers and a few epic Espers. So starting with Raven, they are going to do an Esper adjustment, and from my experience thus far, I don't think they're gonna nerf anything. I think they're only gonna buff certain Espers. So a lot of you guys already feel like, you know, your Ravens and your Tibers are not particularly that interesting as opposed to like getting a Feng Nusi, I call her Nusi, or getting a Shenpin, for example, right? Those Espers are super exciting. These Espers, they are less exciting. So how then can we attempt to make these Shimmer Espers a little bit more exciting? So I'll talk about that in just a bit. So Legendary Espers, Raven, Tibers, T, which is actually the correct pronunciation, the Phantom Sisters, and for Epic Espers, we have Bonnie, and Nayom, I think this is Luo Yan, I think, right? Because Yan Luo Wang, and Aurelius. Okay, so this absolutely needed. So all of these are definitely going to be buffs. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to talk about Raven, I think one way that we can make her a little bit more exciting is for her third skill to double hit. So it has a double proc chance. So instead of it being at 80%, right now it's going to be a lot higher, like 90+%, which I think is going to make her a lot more viable. So there is a higher chance of you guaranteeing a defense break, which I think is very exciting because a single hit defense break is really not that exciting in my opinion. I think Ethan being a flow type with a triple hit is actually more exciting than Raven's defense break. But of course, she also strips, which is very nice to have. But that's basically it in terms of like changes to Raven. I'm not super sure. I mean, I don't have a Raven. You guys can let me know down in the comments below what else do you think should change for Raven. Now, as for Tibers, aka Tever, Tibers, what? Now, the main change I think for his kit is because he relies on debuffs, maybe two things. So the first thing is either forcefully applying both Nico Curse debuffs on his third skill. So right now, the problem is if the enemy is below 35%, then I think he don't apply a second stack. I'm not actually like super sure because he needs to double attack, you know, to reapply the debuff. So what I think is one approach is to just force a double debuff all the time, regardless of whether you kill the Esper or not. And the second change is possibly to strip buffs on his third skill as well. So whenever he hits, he has a chance to strip buffs. If he don't strip buffs, he has a second hit again anyway, with another chance to strip buffs to reapply a debuff. I think that could help his kit a little bit. Now the thing is, I'm very aware of like balancing issues, so I don't think that he necessarily needs to be extremely powerful for him to be viable because number one, he is a Shimmer type after all, so he has elemental neutrality all over the place. So he's not quite the same as Embla, who is more suited against other Infernal Espers, other Wind Espers, or maybe other Shimmer Espers, but definitely weak against Flow type Espers. So that is Tever's niche in that regard. But again, I'm not sure because I don't own a Tever. You guys let me know what you think should change in his kit. Now next we have Tia, T, whichever. The change that I feel that might happen is to reduce her cooldowns on her third skill, I think. I think that's like the main thing because right now he has a cooldown of 5 turns, which makes her not very viable in some PvE content, especially when you want to auto stuff. But if you reduce it to 4 turns, I think she becomes very, very viable. And now, the Phantom Sisters as well, they both are kind of like in the same boat. So they both have really long cooldowns. They both also kind of do the same things. So Phantom Sisters reduce AP by 60%. Tia absorbs 30% AP. So it's the same thing. Their first skills are also exactly the same. 80% chance to absorb 20% AP. Exactly the same. So I think the change for the Phantom Sisters is either a change in their change from the standard speed lead to a universal speed lead, just like the same as T, or just a straight up reduction in their cooldown. So from 5 turns to 4 turns. And maybe the second skill can go down to 3 turns, maybe. I think that could be quite exciting for the Phantom Sisters, and definitely a lot more viable, a lot more versatile as well. You can use her in more places. Now, moving on to the Epic Espers, we are going to start with Bonnie. So the main issue with Bonnie, which Kovian has mentioned before, the issue is that she cooldown extends before buff stripping. So you cannot cooldown extend enemies with immunity, which is like completely reverse logic right now. So she needs to strip at the start and then cooldown reset. I feel like that is possibly going to be the change for Bonnie. I can't really think of anything else right now. Next up for Luo Yan, I feel like he is supposed to use his third skill first before his second skill. If they do swap his AI in that manner, he's going to become extremely meta at the start because he's going to be knockout friendly as well. You can use him in a knockout because he's always going to his third skill first, which is smart AI. Starting with second skill really don't make sense in my opinion. And of course, his AI is just like kind of garbage. But then again, I haven't been using him for a long time. Maybe his AI has improved. Maybe he targets the leader right now. I'm not super sure. And finally, for Aurelius, I think this is going to be a very easy change. Just increase his base attack from 963. Yes, I did recall 963 to maybe 1163. Right? Just increase his base attack by another 200 or something like that. You know. That would definitely improve his DPS a little bit, but even by doing so, just a small change, I'm not super sure whether he's still going to be viable. Because for the most part, I don't think he's really that necessary. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's a flow type. And if he's a flow type, I think Biondina is just going to be so much better than he is. Or he might be a wind type. I'm actually not super sure. Or is he a shimmer type? I don't think he's a shimmer type, right? I completely forgot, okay? But yeah, I do hope to see more Espers changed in 3.2.6. So this is going to be 2 updates away, but at least they are thinking of rebalancing some of the Espers, which is always good to have. So a lot of Espers right now need a lot of changes. Arcana is obviously one of them. Falcon, maybe a slight improvement as well. I know some of you guys say that his DPS is really good, but I do feel like he can be better, and if they do improve on him, I think that's going to work out very nicely for all Falcon users, right? So there is no complaints over there anyway. And of course, there are many other Espers that need some little bit of balancing changes and all that as well. So let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. This is probably like the best time that we can collate all information and I can compile it and just, pass it on to developers or something like that so that they can consider it since they are still, subject to changes. So yeah, take this opportunity, let me know. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't forget to thumbs up, really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Derry Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.